Hello and welcome to tonight's virtual event organized by the Interfaith Association of Central Ohio, known by the acronym IACO. Our program tonight is titled Coming Together as a Beloved Community with Our Heads, with Our Hearts, and with Our Hands. I want to thank everyone for spending your Sunday evening with us, and also to those who will watch this program later as it's being recorded and will be posted online. This is one of our signature annual events, used to known as the annual Interfaith Gathering. And of course, we used to have hundreds of people from various faith backgrounds coming together in person. And don't we miss those days? And share a meal and have just really productive and sincere dialogues. And those programs have received phenomenal feedback from our community members. Keeping the same spirit, we tried to put together a phenomenal program for you tonight. This will be a feast to your eyes, to your ears, and to your hearts. And of course, we could not have put this program together without the support of our sponsor and partner organizations. And in recognition and appreciation of their contribution, I would like to share who these organizations are. These are Jain Center of Central Ohio, Turkish American Society of Ohio, Central Ohioans for Peace, United Methodist Church and Community Development for All People, and the Baha'i Faith, the Spirituality Network, Worthington Interfaith Neighbors, Bharatiya Hindu Temple, First Unitarian Universalist Church of Columbus, Safe Alliance of Interfaith Leaders, and the North Unitarian Universalist Congregation. And last but not least, our organization supporter, Puffin Foundation. Thank you all again for your continuous support of IACO and our programs. As you all know, this program is live streamed on both YouTube and Facebook simultaneously. And we encourage our listeners to go ahead and post comments, share your reflections and feelings as you listen to and hear what we are about to share with you tonight. And without further ado, I want to present you Karen Dawson to officially welcome you on behalf of our organization, Interfaith Association of Central Ohio. Hi, Karen.
Hi.
Karen, if you could, there's an echo. If you could mute or turn the speakers off, that would be great.
Okay, let me see.
You're good. You're fine now. You're fine now.
Okay.
So, Karen.
Yeah.
Karen is the president of Interfaith Association of Central Ohio. And she served as the secretary for 2 terms previously. Karen has a PhD in political science from the University of Washington, St. Louis. And she served as a project manager for the U.S. Department of Education previously. In 1982, Karen and her family moved to Columbus and became the member of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Columbus. She's an active member there. And most importantly, she's a very active person in the interfaith circles in Columbus. Her contributions have been recognized in an award by the Spirituality Network in 2018. So Karen, welcome. And it's, now it's yours.
Thank you. Thank you, and welcome as well. The Interfaith Association of Central Ohio, shorthand IACO, IACO, is made up of 9 faith traditions: Baha'is, Buddhist, Christian, Hindu, Islam, Jain, Jewish, Sikh, and Unitarian Universalists. IACO's vision is for Central Ohio to become a vibrant interfaith community based on understanding, friendship, and trust. Our values are reflected in the work we do. We educate ourselves and the public about customs and practices of different faith traditions, including visitations to various places of worship. We advocate for social justice, peace, and human dignity. We promote interfaith gatherings and events that address local and global concerns. And we partner with faith and peace-focused organizations. And tonight, we basically are doing all of that, all of the above. We've been around for 85 years now. The organization grew out of an interfaith service that took place on November 19th, 1985, when representatives of 5 faith traditions, the Buddhist, Christian, Hindu, Islam, Jewish, came together and called their constituents and the public to a large prayer service. And the meeting, the call for the service was to focus attention on a summit that was taking place between our then President Ronald Reagan and the Soviet Union President Mikhail Gorbachev. The service expressed the common longing that peace, freedom, and human dignity might be advanced at the summit. It was such a success that the attendees said, hey, we want to keep meeting. We want to provide opportunities for dialogue, to promote cooperation among people from various backgrounds and religious faiths. So since 1992, another 4 faith traditions joined the original 5. The Baha'i, Jain, Sikh, and the Unitarian Universalist was the 9th. For those who are interested in learning more about these 9 faiths, IACO has published a booklet, Our Faiths, an Introduction. This booklet contains information on each of the 9 faiths, including basic beliefs, symbols, historical background, customs, major holidays, and worship. IACO sells these booklets for $3 each. If you are interested in purchasing copies, you can contact the IACO office, and you could see the website right there. I want to thank Celine Ucan for running our program today. He's a relatively new member on the IACO Council, and he jumped in maybe with both feet and both hands. He's a representative of the Islamic faith, and he's also now serving as moderator of the program committee. His background is that he was a former teacher and a principal, and has recently completed his doctorate in education from the Ohio State University. He is currently working as an educational consultant. So with that, I'll turn it back to Dr. Salim Ucan, and he could take it on.
Well, thank you, Karen. In fact, my commencement was today, just maybe an hour earlier. But maybe one of the good things, one of the few good things about COVID, that I attended a commencement, and now I'm moderating another program in the same chair from my home. Well, thank you, Karen. So the first reflection of our program will come from the Baha'i faith tradition. See, the 9 faith traditions that you will hear from tonight they all have pre-recorded their reflections and shared with us. And as the first faith tradition on our list, I now invite you to enjoy some reflections by Jonathan Brown, one of our IACO Council member representing the Baha'i community of Columbus. And his reflection is followed by a beautiful song with amazing images called Same Dust by Eric Harper. So please enjoy.
This year's Interfaith Prayer Gathering theme of coming together as a beloved community is consistent and befitting to us in the Baha'i faith. From the early days of Abdu'l-Baha, the son of the messenger of our faith who traveled America, to the present, Baha'is have been engaged in what we call the process of integration.
The legacy of the 20th century is really the world recognizing that it is one.
At the start of the 1900s, countries were a lot more separated, both politically and otherwise. And because of many of the events that had happened during that century, humans were a lot more connected.
If you just look at systems of communication and the internet, people can communicate with each other instantaneously from all over the world.
Now the challenge is, how can we spiritually be connected? And how can we catch up our spiritual selves to our material selves?
The message of Baha'u'llah, I think what makes it so transformative is that it speaks in this day for the very first time of the true unity of the entire human race. In this period of transformation that we're in right now, the world is going from a state of infancy to a state of maturity.
As certain systems and institutions may start to disintegrate, other systems are being simultaneously created that represent forces of integration.
Baha'is are striving every day in this process of integration to be conscious of the fact that everyone is a member of the human family, and that takes precedence over every other piece of our identity. We have national identities and racial identities in the world today, but our truest identity is that we're all human. A spiritual identity, which calls for a complete reorganization of human relationships that the world has never seen before.
So powerful is the light of unity that it can illuminate the whole earth.
Wow. Wasn't that powerful? The song From the Same Dust, isn't it true? I mean, and those images, it was so moving and elating. So we thank our Baha'i community for sharing these beautiful pieces with us. The second or the next faith tradition that we will go to is actually the faith tradition of mine, Islam. And we invite you to first to enjoy a short reflection by someone that I know very closely. I've known her since she was born, I'd say. Her name is Hatice Yuken, and it will be followed by a song by Yusuf Islam, formerly known as Cat Stevens, who was very famous around 70s. Some of her songs that you may know are Peace Train, Father and Son, and The World, Wild World. Yusuf Islam converted to Islam, and in this particular video, he's singing the same song that people of a particular city called Medina, when they embraced and welcomed Prophet Muhammad, who was avoiding persecution in his own city. It's the same song, same words. So please enjoy a short reflection from Hatice, followed by Yusuf Islam's song.
Hi, my name is Hatice Yuken. I am a junior in high school. I live in Hilliard with my parents and two sisters. I'm a member of the Muslim Turkish American community here in Columbus. And tonight I want to share with you the significance of a beloved community through the perspective of my faith tradition, Islam. So, as we all know, the notion of a beloved community was made popular through Martin Luther King Jr., and Dr. King's beloved community is a global vision in which racism and all forms of discrimination, bigotry, and prejudice is replaced by an all-inclusive spirit of sisterhood and brotherhood. So this vision is central to the Islamic faith, and our holy text, the Quran, provides a clear guidance for the Muslims to work towards establishing such a community. And a verse from the Quran read as the following: O men, we have created you all out of male and female, and have made you into nations and tribes so that you may know one another. There are two significant things about this verse. The first one is we know that God is the Almighty and the All-Powerful, and He is the Creator and the Maker. So if God wanted to create a world where people lived in peace and harmony without any conflict, that is something He could have easily done. But He did not. He made it a goal for us to work towards. So in my faith tradition, it is the responsibility of every Muslim to work towards establishing a beloved community. The second significant thing about this verse is that the action of knowing one another is continuous. It is a verb, an ongoing act. Rather than a destination, it is a process. Therefore, our religion promotes beloved community very clearly, and it urges its followers to work towards creating that goal throughout every point of their lives. People that I'm surrounded by in my community do that every day, and that encourages us young Muslims to continue on this sacred path. I do not know if one day we will create such a world, but what I do know is that God rewards our efforts, our process, and our intentions, rather than whether we attained our desired outcome or not. So therefore, I, like many other Muslims in the United States and around the world, will continue putting forth the efforts towards building a beloved community. Thank you.
طلع البدر علينا من ثنيات الوداع وجب الشكر علينا ما دعا لله داع أيها المبعوث فينا جئت بالأمر المطاع جئت شرفت المدينة مرحبا يا خير دار طلع البدر علينا من ثنيات الوداع وجب الشكر علينا ما دعا لله دا أيها المبعوث فينا جئت بالأمر المطاع جئت شرفت مدينة مرحبا يا خير داع صلي على حبيبك صلي على نبيك صلي على رسولك صلي على مصطفى طلع البدر علينا من ثنيات الوداع وجب الشكر علينا ما دعا لله دا طلع البدر علينا من ثنيات الوداع وجب الشكر علينا ما دعا لله دا صلي على حبيبك صلي على نبيك صلي على رسولك صلي على مصطفى صلي على حبيبك يا ربنا صلي على مصطفى صلي على صلي على حبيبك يا ربنا يا صلي على مصطفى صلي على حبيبك يا ربنا حبيبك يا ربنا صلي على مصطفى صلي على صلي على صلي على طلع البدر علينا من ثنيات الوداع وجب الشكر علينا ما دعا لله دا لله دا Peace be with you. Assalamu alaikum.
Wow, that was really beautiful. Our next faith tradition that we will hear from is the Christian faith. And this includes reflections from Nick Bates, who's a deacon in the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America. And importantly, he's the director of a hunger network in Ohio. He's going to share with us his vision, I think, of about Christianity as an activist faith. And then we'll see a wonderful video that's a program in Chicago that has people from the Bethel Lutheran Church with Pastor Reverend Albert Starr and the work that they do in their local community. So we'll see both videos. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nick Bates, and I'm a deacon in the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America. Called as the director of the Hunger Network in Ohio, a statewide ecumenical network that believes we can end hunger by addressing the root causes of poverty through advocacy. Now, as a Lutheran, I believe that sin broke humanity's relationship with God, but God has restored that relationship because of God's love for all of us. But that same sin, our fears, our insecurities, our greed and selfishness, can divide our relationships with our neighbors. But as a faith community, we are called to respond to these broken relationships in our world through our actions and our works. We can provide relief, like through our food pantries and counseling services and homeless shelters. We are called to educate our congregations about the needs of our community. We do a lot of development work around the globe, supporting environmentally sustainable agriculture. And finally, we do advocacy. We go to Congress and to state houses. We go to the United Nations and to town hall meetings to speak with those who have the ability to create long-term and permanent change. And we do this speaking alongside those who hunger and thirst for God's justice. We do all of these different things because this is God's work, and God uses our hands and our feet and our voices to do God's work in the world. Whether we use our hands to serve a meal to those who hunger at a local food pantry, or we write letters to our senators, we do this work to build up God's beloved community, a community where we can all be in right relationship with our neighbor. You can hear more about God's work with our hands in our next video by Bethel Lutheran Church in Chicago.
We are here at Bethel Lutheran Church on the west side of Chicago.
Come and go with me to my Father's house.
We're going to be doing some of our God's work by our hands. So we've broken up into 4 or 5 teams, and each team has their own duties to do today. That's why we all got our shirts on. And the team I'm a part of is helping with the meals downstairs. Last year I was a part of the team going outside interceding with some of the people in the community. Just asking them, do they need is there anything we can be in prayer with them about? They need someone to be there to give them hope.
It was just a great feeling to do something for the neighborhood and to see the community seeing us clean up their neighborhood. You can see people stopping, wondering, wow, somebody's doing something in our neighborhood. So it does make a difference, on our part as well as theirs. It's not a coincidence. I think I was meant to be here. So I love being here.
Well, I hope you enjoyed such a powerful message from Nick, and also get to see how that was put into action in a Lutheran church in Chicago. Next, after Christianity, we will hear from another powerful message from the Hindu faith tradition. And we will first hear from Bangalore Shankar, who's a member of our council, and his 2 bright 7th graders from the Bharatiya Hindu temple in Columbus. So let's hear from our Hindu tradition.
I am Bangalore Shankar, representing Hindu community in Central Ohio. Hinduism is modern connotation for Sanatana Dharma, the universal tradition without a beginning and an end. It is not only a belief system, but also a way of life, which are eternal, absolute set of duties resting upon all Hindus, regardless of class, creed, or sect. What is Dharma? There is no equivalent word in other languages. It encompasses harmony, righteousness, truth, and compassion. This Dharma has stood the test of time. Continuous onslaught by external and internal forces of ideas and ideologies have forced it to continuously adopt, modify, assimilate, and embrace with changing times. Hinduism, similar to other beliefs, it looks like monotheism. But Hinduism differs from all other world religions because it is a pluralistic religion and accommodates divergent beliefs, paths, and practices. For Hindus, dana, that is giving, is an important part of one's dharma. Some of the forms of giving are annadana, sharing of food, gnanadana, sharing of knowledge with others. Our temples are great example of bringing communities together. All major festivals, weddings, etc. are conducted in the premises of the temple. It is an example of bringing community and its social activities in the presence of Almighty in an environment of joy, love and compassion. Some of the shlokas or verses recited by the children will clearly show how body, mind and sense energies are used in bringing harmony, love within us and the community around us. All the actions are performed without expectation of fruit of action. Thank you.
Namaskar.
I'm Mana Singh and I'm in 7th grade.
I am Adwak Bera and I am in 7th grade.
We will be reciting 2 shlokas
and giving the meanings of the shlokas.
Kayena vacha manasendriyeva buddhyatmana va prakrute subhava karomi adhyat sakalam parasmai narayanayeti samarpayami.
Whatever is done with the body, speech, mind, or the sense organs, either by the discrimination of the intellect, or by the deeper feelings of the heart, or by the existing tendencies of the mind, the devotee does them all without ownership and surrenders them at the feet of Sri Narayana.
Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om, may we all be protected, may we all be nourished, may we all work together with great energy, may our studies and knowledge be enlightening. Let there be no animosity among us. Om, peace in me, peace in nature, peace in divine forces.
Well, that was great. We thank Bangalore and these 2 bright 7th graders for sharing a powerful message, such a powerful message, and also the chanting with us in their tradition. Next, we go to one of the Abrahamic traditions, Judaism. And for Judaism, we are going to hear from 2 rabbis, Rabbi Hillel Skolnick and Alex Braver, and their families. They're going to share with us how they celebrate Hanukkah, which was recent, 2 days ago. So let's hear from our Jewish brothers and sisters.
Hi and welcome. Thank you so much for joining the Skolnick and Bar Skolnick and Braver and Weissler families for the 4th night of Hanukkah. We're very excited to celebrate with you and thank you for giving us the opportunity to be part of this wonderful interfaith gathering.
We're going to be doing a model of what the candle lighting for a Hanukkah evening looks like. I know, sorry, buddy. Even though it's broad daylight, there's 2 blessings we'll say. One blessing is the blessing over the ritual of lighting the candles, and the other blessing is thanking God for miracles performed for our ancestors and for miracles that continually are with us even today.
And since tonight is the 4th night of Hanukkah, we're lighting 4 candles. If you know the blessings, you're welcome to sing along with us from home. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Hanukkah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim lavoteinu bayamim hahem b'azman hazeh. And then usually when we're lighting the candles, we sing Ma'osur Yeshuati Lechanan Leshabeach Tikon Beit Tefilati. Visham Tuda Nizabeya, Le'etachin Matbeya, Mitzar Amnabeya, Hazegmor Bashir Mizmor, Chanukah Mizbeya, Hazegmor Bashir Mizmor, Chanukah Mizbeya. Great job, everybody. Thank you.
Happy Hanukkah.
Thank you. Happy Hanukkah. One of the beautiful things about lighting candles for Hanukkah is that they're supposed to be placed in the window. Obviously, we are doing this example outside, so that way we can maintain proper social distancing between our families. But when you light Hanukkah candles at home, you place them in the window for the idea of what's called Pirsume Nisa, which means to publicize the miracle. The idea is that we are trying to share our happiness, share our joy, share our light in these darkest days of the year because the sun sets so early, to share our happiness about the fact that, according to the wonderful story that we all tell to each other, that the oil lasted for 8 days, and we celebrate the fact that the Maccabees were able to defeat the ancient Greeks in what was a miraculous victory. But ultimately, it's about sharing our happiness and being able to bring light to a world in some of its darkest times. It's very meaningful and very beautiful, and a wonderful way to help build community wherever it is that you light your Hanukkah candles.
I love that perspective, and something I also love about this holiday, with that story of our ancestors who had their temple desecrated, and when they tried to restore it, they were looking for the oil that could light the sacred menorah in the ancient temple and keep the lights burning, and they didn't think they had enough. They thought it would only last for 1 day, but the legend is it lasted for far longer, for 8 days. And to keep that myth in our minds and in our hearts in this holiday, to remind us that it's possible to find light and find hope even when it feels like it's not there, and that abundance is possible even when things feel scarce. That's, I think, the deepest meaning of this holiday, and something I always really treasure about it when it comes every year at the darkest time of the year.
So we both hope that you all have enough oil to keep your light burning for as long as you would like it to burn for, and may these dark days of winter lead to happy days of spring and good times for all of us, and celebration and blessing and good health. Thank you again for joining us as we light Hanukkah candles tonight.
Happy holidays.
Okay, thank you, both of you and your families. The next faith tradition that we are going to invite to share with us is Jainism, and the reflections from Prangal Jain, who is also a member of the Interfaith Council, and he serves as moderator of the administrative committee. And then there's this wonderful cultural dance performance by members of the Jain Center of Central Ohio. So Prangal, you're on.
In present time, everyone feel that we are living in a violent times. Each event of violence prompts feeling of sadness, fear, and powerlessness. Sadness because people were killed. Fear because we seemed to be heading to be a dark place as a country. Powerlessness because no matter how much we want this all to stop, nothing seems to help. In this movement, I invite us all to remember that God is everywhere and He is looking at us. The core fundamental of Jainism is do not injure, abuse, oppress, enslave, insult, torment, torture, or kill any creature or living being. My community always come first to teach them basic fundamental of Jainism, such as how to spiritual purity and enlightenment through disciplined non-violence to all living creatures. With our open helping hands. We preach 3 essential ethics in day-to-day living. Number 1, non-hurting. This is the form of non-violence, explaining no physical hurt towards any form of life, knowingly or unknowingly. Being a human is the most valuable life as it has the power to save others from hurt. Number 2, non-harming. This is another form of non-violence, expressing no intention of harming others, knowingly or unknowingly. Number 3, non-hating. This form of non-violence is not to stay in the state of hatred towards any person, place, or things. We invite every human to follow these very simple steps of non-violence. We believe if everyone followed the non-violence path, our country would be very happy, healthy, and full of loving nature. Our community also focus on the principle of vegetarian way of life and its benefit, such as save water and other energy. We are respectful of others and their views. We are very compassionate. We help people with our open hearts. We also support local community by donating time and money to uplift them from poverty. I request to everyone, please come together as a beloved community with our heads, hearts, and hands and make this world very peaceful.
Wow, what a mesmerizing dance performance by the community members of the Jain faith tradition. That's one thing that I am not able to do, dance. So whenever I see a beautiful dance, I just enjoy it. So next we're going to hear from another faith tradition, but I would like to point your attention to the comments, and maybe I can share some of the comments that our listeners are making. Ray Olson says, wonderful message on the flow of the spirituality into practice. Skip says, thank you so much for this message of kindness towards the creation, everyone. Here's another very nice, my favorite blessing is an occasional visitor to Sabbath worship. Thank you very much. Just beautiful comments. Sarah Dawson says, this is beautiful. This is wonderful. I see Greg Davis says you can still hear the Cat Stephen voice in there in Yusuf Islam's song. Yeah, nice. Great work. Greg says great work. Skip again says very sophisticated video, reacting to one of the videos, such wonderful themes, images, pictures, very spiritual. We hope and we are happy to see that you're enjoying this as much as we enjoyed putting it together. So thank you very much for being part of this event tonight. Next, we are going to hear from another Eastern faith tradition, Buddhism. And for the Buddhism, we are going to hear two pieces. One of them, the first one will be some reflections by Geneva Nixon, who is the Buddhist representative on IACO, Interfaith Association of Central Ohio. And then after that, we will see and watch a performance, another beautiful piece put together, produced by the Soka Gakkai International organization. And this is a song, I Have a Dream song. I'm sure you're going to love it. So let's hear Geneva first, and then listen to the song after Geneva.
There are three main schools of Buddhism that teach the Buddhist path. The first is Theravada, which is based on the Pali Canon, a collection of some of the oldest records of the Buddhist teachings. Theravada is practiced mostly in Sri Lanka and parts of Southeast Asia, including Thailand, Myanmar, Laos, and Cambodia. The second is Mahayana. Mahayana first developed in ancient India, but is now well known in its Chinese and Japanese forms as Nichiren, Zen, which is also called Chan, and Pure Land Buddhism. The role model of Mahayana practitioners is the Bodhisattva, a being who is able to reach nirvana but delays doing so out of compassion in order to relieve the suffering of all conscious beings. The third is the Baha'i tradition, which focuses on Tantra. This also emerged in India. Though it gradually died out there, it is now the predominant form of Buddhism in Tibet and is also practiced in some extent in South Asia. As these traditions were transplanted to the West, they spawned adaptations and new practices that continue to multiply today. But all in all, the practice of Buddhism aims to awaken the great heart that lies dormant inside all of us. Once that heart is freed, nothing remains but to pick up whatever is at hand, take care of it, and start building. One whose heart is awakened as such truly is the best of friends. Therefore, we ask you all to respect practitioners of Buddhism and respect all human beings, for this is the foremost message the Buddha seeks to convey. We continue to be inspired by and grateful for fully embracing this humanism, this love of humanity that pulses vibrantly in the various forms of Buddhist teachings.
And I find
If you are not moved and feel elated by now, the next video will do the job. Next, we are going to hear from our Sikh community in Columbus, and this will be a presentation and reflections put together by some of the most amazing young members of the Sikh community here in Columbus. They will share their reflections from their faith tradition and perform a verse for us. And the video was produced by Guamrit Singh. So let's hear from these phenomenal young Sikhs in Columbus.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ.
One common thread in the message of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji is a call to all seekers to come together to immerse in the love of one God, God's virtues and God's creation. In this video, young Sikhs will share one composition from the scripts of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji and its message of unity for all.
This line comes from a composition of Guru Amar Das Ji, the third Sikh Guru. This composition is set to and sung in the classical Indian musical measure called Ramgiri Rag. Guruji says, "O seekers, the beloved Sikhs of the true Lord, come together, sing and contemplate on the virtues of the Lord."
In another line of this composition, Guru Amar Das Ji says, "Jin ko nadar karam hove, hivdat na samarni." Guruji says, those who are blessed by the true Lord, their heart becomes imbued with these words of the virtuous Lord.
When our hearts are filled with the love for the true Lord, our mind is tuned to the virtues of the one supreme God. We start living these virtues. We realize our true potential and become the embodiment of the divine light. We recognize the entire creation to come from one God. In this state, our hands start serving the entire humanity and creation without any bias and discrimination. May Guru bless us all to imbibe Guru Amar Das Ji's message so that we can come together with our heads, hearts, and hands to serve the Lord and His creation.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ.
I really love to see the number of young people that we have in all the faith videos that we're able to show tonight. Does my heart good to see the younger generation. The next one and last one, we have a faith tradition we are going to look at is Unitarian Universalists. And this is going to be, first of all, Reverend Dr. Marion Stewart, who's the senior minister at First Unitarian Universalist Church in Columbus, Ohio. And she is going to be talking about that symbol you see, the chalice, which is very important in our faith. And then you'll see a really wonderful performance that I think really shows the Unitarian Universalist values of both inclusion and partnerships. So I think you'll enjoy this.
Hello and welcome.
I'm Reverend Dr. Marion Stewart. It is my pleasure to serve the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Columbus as senior minister. The theme this year of bringing us together into a more beloved community feels so hopeful in this time of pandemic, when bringing us together reminds us of actually being together in body. Right now, we're together in spirit, if you will, via Zoom and online technology. It's a gift to have that in this time, and I hope everyone is staying safe. But bringing us together, the chalice I just lit, the flaming chalice, was a time of bringing people to safety. The Unitarian Service Committee at the end of World War II, or during World War II, had a symbol, the flaming chalice, that was a sign of hope, of safety, of come here, this letter, this person, whoever held the symbol of a flaming chalice, it was okay to follow that, to help get out of harm's way in Nazi Germany. Freedom was on the other side, the hope of a new life. But these days, in this time of pandemic, where is our hope now? Well, my friends, I figure hope looks like another four-letter word. It looks like love. You'll see Unitarians a lot of times wearing our bright yellow shirts or stoles with standing on the side of love. We changed that a little bit later to answering the call of love. But the original story was William Sinkford, when he was president of the Unitarian Universalist Association, was on the phone call with someone from the press. Now, they were asking him about why the Unitarian Universalist denomination was actually supporting gay marriage. Well, the Unitarian headquarters was actually within, like, you could pass a cup of coffee or a bag of flour through the windows to the Massachusetts State House. We were right there next to it when they were considering the law. This reporter said, "Why are you doing this?" And President Sinkford said, "Because we stand on the side of love." Unitarian Universalists are always saying yes, and you are welcome, and you too. And I think that's a great model for our whole society, our whole country, everyone, to say yes, and. We've had enough of this either or. How do we truly welcome everyone in all sorts of ways? I think we need to search our hearts this holiday season when so many of us are spending time alone. What does it really mean to come together? And who gets to come together? Who is a part of this beloved community that we're trying to build? Is it just a select few? Is it those who voted this way or that way? Is it this religion or that religion? Is it whatever barrier you want to put, or anything? You could do it on class or race, gender, anything. But really, we're all human. Can we not come together and have discussion, worship together, be together, help build a better world together? It won't be easy. There are a lot of differences. But my friends, the goal of a better world, of a beloved community coming together for a better world, that is so worth fighting for. And these days, oh my goodness, we certainly need to stand on the side of love, to show up on the side of love. Wish you well. Blessings. Amen.
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these vibes. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It alive in this great turning. We shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love.
Wow. That song, We Shall Be Known, always gets me emotional. So thank you for this wonderful song, and thank the choir from the Unitarian Universalist faith tradition. So as we are getting closer to the end of our program, we hope that you have been enjoying these videos from all 9 faith traditions immensely. And I mean, we love the engagement. There have been hundreds of comments both on Facebook and YouTube, and there are close to 100 people are still with us. With almost, it's been an hour. So before we close this event in a most beautiful way, what we want to share with you is that our vision as a next step of this program is to put you in the participants in tonight's program into smaller groups of 5 to 8 people from diverse faith backgrounds, and help you further this conversation, further tonight's theme, and build even stronger relationships among you, and maybe develop your own peacemaking projects. Be a peacemaker rather than just a peace lover. That's our vision. So right after our program, you will receive a feedback request online. There you will be able to share your experiences of how you felt tonight, how much you enjoyed tonight, and also give us feedback as to how we can improve our programming moving forward. But in the same request, you will be asked if you are interested in continuing this conversation in small groups, and whether you would like the opportunity to host one of these small groups. We at IACO will help you with the technology part and also the facilitation part if you are interested. We hope that all of you would be interested in being part of this next step and turn tonight's messages into action together. So please be on the lookout for that request feedback online right after the event. Now I turn to President Dr. Karen Dawson for the next and final part of our program. Hi, Karen.
Still here.
Yeah, I'm sure you were enthralled with all the videos and messages. So go ahead.
Well, I'd like to introduce someone who I think is pretty special, and she's going to do a closing for us. This is Reverend Dr. Susan Smith. She's an ordained minister, writer, and musician. She's the founder of Crazy Faith Ministries in Columbus, Ohio, that concentrates on teaching people to pray with their feet in their work with homeless and on social justice issues. Her newest book is With Liberty and Justice for Some, the Bible, the Constitution, and Racism in America. I'm going to be sure to read that. So I'd like to introduce and welcome Reverend Susan Smith.
Thank you, Dr. Dawson, and thank you for inviting me. It's a good thing to be here. The song that you just sang just got to me as well as to Salim. It was a wonderful song. And this whole program is so timely. You know, because whatever religion we are, and I love this, whatever religion we are, Christian, Jewish, Buddhist, Sikh, whatever, at the end of the day, we're all human beings. And all of us in this particular period of time are probably feeling some kind of way because of all of the political upheaval that's been going on. And so I thought that I would read a meditation. The book I did last year is called Rest for the Justice Seeking Soul. And there's a meditation in there that I thought would be pretty apropos for tonight. Now, I'm reading as an African-American woman who's a Christian, but I'm hoping that it goes across all religious lines and that it'll touch someone. Listen. Sometimes we find ourselves in a place that violates everything in which we have always believed. That place feels cold and odd and uncomfortable. We writhe in discomfort and yearn for what we used to know. Nothing feels right. Though we try to go through the motions of life we have known, we feel an isolation and distance, sometimes even from God. The ancient Jews knew this feeling in their exile to Babylon. First, the Babylonians set siege to Jerusalem, burning, destroying, and killing most of what the Jews had loved. The survivors were taken captive and taken off to Babylon. And there they sat, forlorn and distressed, missing their beloved Jerusalem. The prophet Ezekiel was among the exiles, mourning with his people along the banks of the Chebar River. You know what? There's something, though, that is striking about the Babylonian exile that perhaps we don't think about often. Yes, the Jews mourned. By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down, and there we wept when we remembered Zion. On the willows, there we hung up our harps, for there our captors asked for us songs, and our tormentors asked for mirth, saying, "Sing us one of the songs of Zion." How absolutely insensitive, we might say, for those who capture us and steal our joy, to dare to call on our God. And yet, the history of the Babylonian captivity shows that the Jews never let go of their God. They never stopped believing, they never stopped worshiping, and never stopped acknowledging that God is God no matter what. They sang the Lord's song in a strange land. Being in Babylon is not comfortable or fun, whether it is because of our own doing, because of the oppression of others, or a combination of both. Under the pressure of evil with individuals or governments threatening our ability to thrive, there is a tendency to give up. It seems easier for some. We give in to powers that seem greater than God. But there is no power greater than God. Even amidst horrific pain and suffering, God is sovereign. Yes, we have questions about how a good God, a sovereign God, a God who loves us all, could allow such suffering. And no, we will never have answers to those questions. But history tells us that those who sing the Lord's song in a strange land will increase their strength and their capacity to bear the burden of suffering. Those who refuse to curse God and die, as Job's wife advised him to do, ultimately get through the horrific pain that injustice and evil cause, even though at the end of their journey, they are not the same. We are not supposed to be the same. Babylon changes us. I can remember my own mother singing at the kitchen sink, looking out the window as she worked, singing, "Jesus, keep me near the cross." She sang it with such a passion that I would start singing it too, although I really didn't know what I was singing about. We were an African-American family with 5 kids and 2 parents struggling to make ends meet. I imagine there were times when she and my father did not know how they were going to make it. Babylon. But my mother would sing that song and others, and we often joined her. In America, we African Americans were in exile. In America, we had to remember that white supremacy was not the boss of us and that always God was there. Babylon. The Jews in exile never stopped worshiping God. They never let Babylon become sovereign over them. They survived and eventually thrived. They did so well that when deliverance came, some did not want to go back to Jerusalem. God had turned their mourning into dancing. God did it then, and God can do it now. Getting out of Babylon means turning to God like we have never done before. Getting out of Babylon means singing a new song to the Lord every day, even when we don't want to, in such a way that others will want to join us. Babylon is not forever. God is. And I hope that we will take that thought with us on this day, in this period of time when there is so much confusion going on, that many of our spirits are all the way off kilter. I hope we will take this message and remember that Babylon is not forever, but God is. God bless you. And thank you so much.
Wow, Karen, what a strong, powerful message to close our program with.
Great.
So, thank you, Dr. Smith. Thank you very much. Before we all say good night to you all, I want to bring someone else into the studio, and that is Carrie Taylor, our staff member at IACO. We want to thank Carrie so much because, and I'm saying this sincerely and honestly, we could not have pulled this program off without Carrie's diligent help and support. So thank you, Carrie. And Dr. Dawson, I don't know if you have anything else to say before before three of us say good night.
Yeah, I think I really just have to acknowledge that each of the faith traditions did their own videos. We did not micromanage it in any way. We had a coordinator. They each produced what you saw. And I can't tell you how proud I am of that product. I just want to thank them. They all took this seriously, and they did the work. And I think they were wonderful, wonderful videos. I love seeing all those children involved, parents and children. And I really do think that we need to look at our next generation as the leaders that will, in fact, hopefully make some of the changes away from Babylon.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, good night, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you.